Immigration has long been what you call a hot-button issue. In 2012, candidate Mitt Romney had a novel idea. If you want to rid the country of illegal immigrants, don't hire them. Then they'll self-deport. What a difference 10 months and 27% of the Latino vote makes. Arizona Senator John McCain says one word sums up what some might call a change of heart.
Elections. The Republican Party is losing the support of our Hispanic citizens. And we realize that there are many issues in which we think we are in agreement with our Hispanic citizens, but this is a preeminent issue.
To be fair, as a presidential candidate in 2008, McCain said comprehensive immigration reform should be a top priority for the next occupant of the White House. But since then, he hasn't been as vocal until now, of course. Maria Cardona is a CNN contributor and a Democratic strategist. Anna Navarro is a CNN contributor and a Republican strategist. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, Carol.
Okay, so the president later today will give a speech in Las Vegas, Nevada. He was supposed to outline his own plan for immigration, but now he's going to take these 8 senators' plan for immigration and say he's on board. So why doesn't he just present his own plan, Maria?
Well, I actually think that it's very smart of the White House to take the plan of the Gang of 8 in the Senate and say that the president supports it. There will be some differences, Carol. The White House has outlined some of the differences that the president will talk about today. We know that he wants perhaps an smoother and easier way path to citizenship. But I think that's smart, too, because if you can look at the plan from the White House and then take the plan from the senators, there's some differences there. There is a place to negotiate. There's a place to meet in the middle, because this is still very much an uphill battle. I think that you have senators that understand what needs to be done, and they have been speaking very forthrightly and smartly, I think. But there are still a lot of Republicans, both in the House and in the Senate, who don't think that a path to citizenship is something that they can stomach. So hopefully between the White House and the senators on both sides of the aisle and then the House on both sides of the aisle, we can finally get this done.
And it seems, Anna, that the bargaining chip here is border security. Republicans are very concerned about that. They say nothing should happen until we secure our borders.
Carol, I think all Americans are concerned about border security. Border security is not just about immigration. Border security is about drug trafficking. Border security is about gun trafficking. Border security is about terrorism. It is now a national security imperative, and it is a huge and important part of a comprehensive immigration solution. It needs to include border security. We need to win back the faith of the American people that their government is capable of keeping their border secure. We don't want this problem again. The big problem with the 1986 law was that it did not solve the problem long term. We want a solution now that does that, and it has to be bipartisan. It has to be bipartisan because there's a Republican House, a Democratic Senate, and they are the ones that legislate and pass legislation. So the smartest thing President Obama could do is embrace this bipartisan agreement that has been crafted by some of the most serious people who have been working on immigration for decades in the Senate, both on the Republican and Democrat side. They know what they're doing. They know how far they can go. They know what the parameters are to be viable and be able to be passed. Well, so I hope he doesn't do anything to poison that well.
In talking about border security, Maria, it makes you wonder, like, what will be the final solution there? Because that's a tough problem. And what will satisfy those lawmakers who say that we have to secure our borders, and here's how we're going to do that? And I don't think anyone knows the answer to that.
And I think that's going to be one of the most difficult sticking points, Carol. I mean, Anna's right. Americans want to make sure that our borders are secure. But how do we measure that? What is the benchmark there? If you look at the money put into border security, we have been putting record amounts of money into border security. We spend $18 billion on border security and immigration enforcement. That's more money than the FBI, the DEA, and the ATF combined. And if you look at the numbers of immigration, last year there was a negative immigration flow between the United States and Mexico. So I think that's going to be a key sticking point. A lot of immigration advocates believe that this could be a pitfall for Republicans to continue to say, oh, the border's not secure yet, the border's not secure yet, and that pathway to citizenship will actually never be a reality. So that is a big problem.
I can remember the arguments during 2012. Some lawmakers wanted to put a fence, you know, around the entire country, right? And that wasn't possible. Others want more armed security along the border, and we have that now. So what's the answer?
Well, what they've done in this new bill, in this proposal, in this bipartisan agreement, is they've formed a commission of border state governors, and a commission that would certify that the border is secure. I think there's some logic to that. I mean, Carol, you know, the people on the ground are the ones that best can tell. Now, are we talking about border security to the point where a squirrel won't be able to get through the border? No. But are we talking about border security better than we have now, which, by the way, is better than we had 4 years ago? There have been improvements, and improvements can continue to be made. Yes, and there are specific metrics that can be put into legislation. How many people get through? What, you know, how many people get detained? I mean, there's, you know, there are metrics. There is technology. There are human resources that can be allotted to this. And then there is this commission that they have thought up of to certify that the border is secure, and that would trigger the path to citizenship. But in the meantime, people would have a conditional status that would give them legality in this country and the ability to work and the ability to be out of the shadows. So, you know what? Let us not have the perfect be the enemy of the very good.
Well, we'll see what the president says and what, you know, House lawmakers will come up with, because they're working on their own plan right now. Anna Navarro.
It's certainly a better time than at any other time to do this.
At least we're all talking about it rationally now, right?
That's right.
Anna Navarro, Maria Cardona, thanks so much. Just minutes ago.